Do you use target date funds?
I don't. Hi, I'm David Bush, the Co-Chief Investment Officer at Trajan Wealth. Now, I've been in the business for over 25 years, starting in January of 2000. So I have well over 2 decades of experience managing investments. A target date fund is essentially a mutual fund that is designed for retirement planning. It's named after the date of your target retirement. So as an example, if you have a target date fund that has a target date 2040 or a 2050, that year is the anticipated retirement year. And it's meant to be sort of a set it and forget it option that's available in a lot of company 401ks. It allocates heavier towards stocks in the very beginning, and then over time it moves to a more conservative approach, so more bonds and even cash holdings. And they're designed to have automatic rebalancing over that period of time. Now, that period of time from when the fund goes from having more stocks to more bonds is called the glide path. And that formula is what sort of decides the asset allocation. Target date funds are best for, younger investors, so those that are first starting their career, if they just want to get started. It's also good for those people who want a hands-off approach to managing their investments. It takes time and effort and due diligence to properly establish a portfolio. And, most people, they're working full time and they've got, family obligations and social obligations. And so there's not a lot of time to sort of manage your own investment portfolio. And that's where we come in. That's one of the very big values that we provide to our clients is we do all of that analysis for you and establish an investment plan that meets your risk tolerance, your time horizon, and your life circumstances. Target date funds are sort of a one-size-fits-all mentality, and it may not be appropriate, or the asset allocation mix may not be appropriate for specific investors. The other downside to target date funds is that they're typically loaded with fees. What I mean by that is that there's typically a higher mutual fund expense. So that expense is built into the fund itself because it has all of those moving pieces. It automatically reallocates, and it's managed by a group of professional investors. The big risk for target date funds is that because it ends at retirement date, there's still a potential for a person to live another 10, 20, 30 years afterwards. And so what that means is that you still have to have assets that are, geared towards growth like stocks and safety like bonds. And so if you have a target fund that is allocated to, nearly 100% bonds, that may not provide you with enough growth to fund your retirement. Target date funds are an interesting tool, and I think they should be considered a tool in the toolkit. For the most part, if somebody's, starting off in their career and they're looking for an easy set it and forget it type option, that's where target date funds can come in handy. Where I would be cautious is as you're moving towards retirement. So when you're in your 50s and 60s, really looking at that underlying asset allocation and understanding, the amount that you've grown your 401k to, and make that determination if that asset allocation within the target date fund is still appropriate for you as an investor as you think about that time after retirement. One of the interesting things is in my role here is that I have access to all of the market data and information, company analysis, economic forecasts, and so on. But I don't trade my own personal portfolio, my own retirement account. I don't use target date funds. Essentially what I do is I establish a portfolio for myself that's very similar to what we would do for one of our clients. And it's based on my age and my risk tolerance and my time horizon. And I don't go in and trade my own account. I don't trade individual stocks or even bonds. I mainly use ETFs and some of those options that are available within our 401k program. Well, thank you for watching. You can find us at trajanwealth.com or across all social media platforms. Be sure to hit subscribe so you get more insights like this.